this training of value-based leadership, so that they can just be aware about how they will just receive the people, how they will just be humble for the people from outside. As you know, people from different countries, they have different cultures. People need just to be much attentive about that. So that's the reason I have chosen this training. Yeah.
That's wonderful. Well done. Yeah.
Sure.
And I also saw that when you put a message out, we're getting some excitement that other people will put in their testimonial already, and
sure.
that's good as well. And
yeah.
And there's somebody sending a message to you on Zoom.
Yes, I think that's great. As the people, they are just liking my testimony, so that they can just attend for different sessions regarding to this, because it's so changing life. It's changing life for sure. As in my side also, it did. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've got a line here. We've just actually with a company, we've just finished a 10-week module. That's their module. And we finished 10 weeks, and in the front of it, it's actually the GM put a message, and then in the back, it's our message, and then they've got we've got a branding on the back, but that's the branding of the organization. And so we're actually tomorrow morning handing out the certificates. There's 22 facilitators who took the whole company through the first 10 weeks. And and the values were chosen through a survey that's done, and now we're going to do another survey. So in a couple of weeks' time, we're going to start the next 10 weeks with different values because of the survey. But it's been amazing, because the people inside the company, there was a lot of issues, and inside the company, people, they see the change even walking through the corridors. They feel it. The energy is different, and so it's an amazing process for people to get involved in. And as I mentioned to you before, I know that by John Maxwell, he's also got interest in working with the transformation of Rwanda, in using the values as well. But I said, well, we can build we can build an army of people already, of people who've gone through the process, who can become certified and then do their own roundtables and start spreading it, because that's how it goes. And we're working with an NGO as well. We're going to train the next 50 facilitators next month, and they also created. They've got a 10-week module with values they chose rather than a survey, and then we're going to do a youth module. So for young people with 10 values as well, because they're going to target the youth in the informal area. It's Alexandria, which is one of the biggest informal areas in Johannesburg, with more than 700,000 people. So there's a lot of issues there, and they're the biggest NGO. So it's amazing how all this comes together, and people are excited, because again they start seeing the change in their office and in their own organization already. So to spread that out, and they want to transform Alexandria as an informal community. Because it's not. We're talking about country transformation, but if you can start transforming individual companies, individual communities, when you transform enough of them, and people start transforming themselves, it's going to change the community, the company, the country. And it goes further than the country, because we've been in places like where we work with Transformation Lebanon, that we went into Iran. And we trained people from Morocco, from other countries in the Middle East already, because they were interested in what was happening in Lebanon. So we look forward to the day that they say, hey, the World Youth Leadership Center in Rwanda and Kigali has started a process that is bringing change. What can we do to become part of this?
Yeah. So that is so very great. It is already said, transformation starts by person. So when the person transformed, the whole country can be transformed. It's the matter of the keeping process. At the time of World Youth Leadership Center have started to go through for this. So we are just expecting to have a big number before the year ends. As after this training, you will just having in person to that universities, 10 universities. The running will start to direct from 10th October. We are just having a university in part of Rwanda called the LP Rwanda Polytechnic IPRC instance. So the university have already confirmed we will just having 100 participants for our training, and then after that training, we will just start the process at the weekly basis to them. So that's how we need just to keep the progress. What we will do is just to show them how they will do, and then we can just still follow up for the progress so that they can just complete the whole communities around the side. For the people who wish for becoming a better leader, this is the good place to be. And then this is, they are just in good hands. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
because indeed, this is the secret is this.
Sure, that's the secret. As all the sentences is just including there, person are not allowed to create their own sentences. Just for follow-up for this, it will just be easy as a retreat person. They will just do it's just like a guidance. After showing them guidance, they can just start the weekly basis to the group. Some mentors of Blind Nation Initiative with the World Youth Leadership Center will go there at the weekly basis to supervise action, to assist them so that they can just know where, how the process just going through. That is, after facilitating that group from different countries on these very basic leadership trainings, we managed to facilitate the inside person in a World Youth Leadership Center here in Rwanda, especially those included in the Blind Nation Initiative. So what we are just waiting is just for finishing this so that we can just hold the events of making them facilitator. So we will just invite you for that as you will just help us to provide that kind of training to them.
Yeah.
So that they can just become a facilitator. And then after, we can just let them. They will be 50% in person. We have already done 50. What's just remaining, it's like a day of facilitation, make them a facilitator. That's what is remaining. But you have already 50 who have already passed through this program. So I think that's
absolutely amazing. Yeah. Well done. I mean, you know, we hear so many wonderful stories from different countries, and even in Pakistan, where we had a lady was in one of our groups, and then she became a facilitator, and now I don't know, they've done 18, 19 groups of trainings, and she became actually a specialist. So like me and my wife Arti, she became a specialist, and then actually, so she's now in their own country training facilitators and starting groups, and it's been phenomenal how that has grown. And last night I was on with a youth program. This is actually because there is a high suicide rate in young people now, and there was a young man on, Lucas, and this from the headquarters from where we got trained in Berlin, Ohio. And the Lebanese lady ran that, but I mean there was 3 values in there that really speak into youth. And then they, in between it, it's a little bit different, but in between it, they've got stories of hope, which came from a gentleman I got to know in 2013, Jesus Ortiz from Colombia, who has worked with, well, now must be well over 1 million people in Egypt, in Colombia, and different, 400,000 people in the army in one of the neighboring countries. And, you know, he's got such a record of this, and is such a humble person and an amazing person I got to know 9 years ago. So, you know, he was on the program, and he wrote these 3 kind of values for young people who are under pressure at the moment. So there's some great things happening that keep things evolving and keep it fresh and relevant all the time. So that's good.
Yeah, that's great. So as you have said that have you been talking to John Maxwell about the transformation in Rwanda this process have been started? Have you talked to him?
No, because and the only reason I haven't done it yet, because I haven't been in the last 2.5 years. I haven't been back there because of COVID, and now you need you need to be vaccinated to go to the United States and things like that. But I mean, I mean, I've already said to some people in his inner circle that we have started the process with the World Youth Leadership Center, and I will keep talking about that. So yes, they will hear about it, because eventually, I think they're going to Papua New Guinea. I've heard this next as a team. But what I've always said ever since I came across this process first, you know, any country, including Rwanda, you don't need 150 people to come in from all over the world to start training for a week and then they leave. But there is enough people, as you're working on this now, there is enough people in Rwanda who want to see, and Rwanda's doing well, but who want to see change in Rwanda, who want to see improvements, who want to see, and who want to be part of this transformation. So all what you're doing at the moment is you're finding new people who want to be part of something bigger than themselves and who want to be part of it. So then it can grow from within, and then it doesn't. Oh well. People can't say, oh, well, I was part of the change of Rwanda. No, people in Rwanda were part of changing Rwanda. Because I hear the stories from other countries, and people said, well, Rwanda is actually, in the whole of Africa, is actually a better country, better position than nearly every other country, in at least in Southern Africa, Middle Africa. But I said, well, look, we went to Ireland as well, and people said, well, Ireland is a great country, well-to-do. So why there? And again, we have success stories from there as well. What's really happening? So there is room for improvement in every country in the world. There is a need for improvement now more than ever before. I mean, we are not at the worst part yet. There is more to come. So what we can also hold on to every day is to our values. And to our connections to our fellow human beings. That because we, you know, the good thing is I've now connected with you and 5 of your amazing people in Rwanda, and I look forward to that next stage as well, and all those kind of things. But it takes somebody, a leader like you. It takes a leader to get the process started, to find other leaders, which you've already done in some, and now you're progressing. And when these people have gone through the process, which ones want to stand up and say, I want to become part of this. This has made such a change to my life. I want to help other people to change their life too. And, you know, at the moment, we're still working with the 6 free modules, which works because, you know, when there's a lack of funds, the free one works. But I mean, because this module, what we had for different countries, we have to pay royalties to America for those, and they have to invest in it. But that's a whole different ballgame. And that's, you know, another discussion where we can eventually say, okay, let's find some companies in Rwanda who are willing to invest maybe the social responsibility budget into not only, we can run it in their companies. Because in Ireland, what they do is they run it in organizations, big organizations too, and important ones. And they get them to pay for the modules and what they do and the training. And what they do is that with that money, they also take care of the NGO, but with the rest of that money, they invest in areas where nobody can pay. So it's a bit like a Robin Hood model, you know, that the rich are the better off, they help invest, because, you know, these things, apart from the physical module, which many people, they don't have to sit in the internet, but when we have this opportunity, and that's how we managed to get together. But we have this opportunity that we need to bring these modules in people's hands. We need to make sure that the facilitators get scripts and other tools that are available. So but at that stage, you need to think about, is there organizations better in Rwanda or outside of Rwanda, maybe in America, wherever else, who are willing to invest in the development of the people of Rwanda, in the development, whether it's the young people the young leaders of Rwanda. Then these kind of things will really talk to them, because if they do an investigation in this process, if it is worth investing in, they will see a lot of good things that are happening. And, you know, I mean, here in South Africa, we've got a lot of people, and they go, for example, they help with their CSI budget, their social responsibility budget. They go and paint an orphanage, and I say no. Don't go and paint an orphanage and put your sign in front of our company's painted this. No. Go and help the young people in the orphanage, make them better. And when they grow and become better, they will paint their own orphanage. But help the people, not paint an orphanage. Help the people, help the young people who are in the orphanage, and the leaders in the orphanage as well. They will paint their own orphanage when they get better. So that's much more important. And so this is purely heart to heart, purely people, purely internal transformation, purely self-development.
Yeah, that's so very great for just this training. I'm just looking for the people and to see what's just happening for the link.
Okay.
I see the one is just saying the link is not working. Let's check the problem.
Because my link, the link you sent me was working. As I'm here.
Yeah, I don't know why. Even me too, it's just working.
Yeah, just find out. I mean, I've got time,
see.
so
yeah.
Maybe they're ticking on the one top mobile or any of the other stuff below it.
Sure.
So maybe when you send the link, just the link itself, give it to them, and then they can click on it.
Yeah.
It might help.
Okay. Okay, I think it's due to the some of probably for his network, but he's just saying he's just trying again. I think he will just join us later. As he's just trying, we just allowed him to come in. So that is so. For this training, as I said, it was just really changed my life daily. As from the first day, I was just no, okay, it's just changing. But when I'm just exercising, it's daily. I'm just seeing big improvement day after day. So, like the point of hope, sometimes we are just thinking that we are just having the hope for the things. But when we are noticing how it's just changing, sometimes we can lie ourselves. So, by following all including like what can I do for that to increase my hope. So I have seen a difference. As I was just thought to myself, oh, I'm just having hope, but I found that there was things needed to be changed so that I can just have the really meaning of it. It's like a forgiveness. So I was just first told that forgiveness is just like helping the people or who was mistaken to you. But I have found that it's just to help myself. So sometimes most of the people, they're just, oh, I cannot forgive for this and this and this due to this. There is different cause, different reasons people cannot give. But also there is 1,000 reasons you need to give to forgive. So that's what I have just found it for that. As we have just been, so I was just in patient, like, these people, they have already killing our brothers or family members. So I can just know nothing, but I can just do for them. But I can't also provide something good for them. That was the stretch or the code that was stretching my heart at the first. But when I'm just saying, if I'm just forgiving them, I can just be free in my heart. I can just progress by thinking the new things. I have seen something changing. So that's the reason why I have just commanded this lesson to my person around me, even the person I know, so that they can just go through it. They can just get the true healing about what caused their hearts to be damaged, of course. So by forgiving, we are just taking a good medicine. We can find nowhere unless forgive. So that is. It is past 20 minutes without having people here. I don't know. So if we can just last another 5 minutes, I think it's the time of postpone it, of course. We will just continue the session next week, but by starting with the value, I will just reach out to them to see the reason why, the problem they are just facing. So I was not expecting it to last like
hey, listen.
without getting deeper.
Listen, and anybody who's listening because you're recording it as well. We know that sometimes challenges happen. I mean, when we went through our 6 weeks, sometimes we had challenges that people dropped off and came back in, and internet challenges. We have those challenges as well, because with power cuts and things like that, and in this country, some people. I mean, there is one going on right now, a training going through the 6 values, because we trained some facilitators. So we did it the other way around. We trained facilitators, and they went through the 6 values afterwards. And they're doing it right now. And I saw some comments coming in before we came in. This lady had no internet because she had power cut. So it doesn't only happen in Rwanda; it happens in South Africa as well. But I love what you. If these people see this recording anyway, as we talk about this expansion, I love what you say, and we can go for another few minutes. And I have the time anyway. But I love what you said about hope and forgiveness, and how it's impacted you personally, because that's what the biggest thing. See, you mentioned in forgiveness that sometimes we look at forgiveness and I think it's all about maybe we need to forgive other people, but sometimes we need to forgive ourselves. Because we have that hatred in us for other people for what they've done to us, but we can't get past that if we cannot forgive ourselves, and to learn these simple things in these values. Because listening as well, for me, it's always been fascinating that everybody thinks that they're great listeners. They overestimate their own listening skills, and they underestimate everybody else's. So when you would first, if you'd ask most of them right now, if you rate from 1 to 10, if you had to rate yourself to be a good listener, 1 being bad, 10 being perfect, how would you rate yourself? Most people would probably say, well, if a 7, 8, 9, and then all of a sudden they read the value of listening and they start understanding what listening is really all about, and all of a sudden, no, I'm no more than a 3. Now I understand. So it's this understanding about the value, and that we connect with other people, because the process is about more than just values. It's called values-based leadership. And as I said to you before, and you actually had a testimonial to that, and even again just now the testimonial you really talked into, is that it is really about sustainable personal development. See, we start this process with 6 values, but we've got 48 of them. We can do so much more and choose some. See, I said to you as well, at some point, even within your organization, the World Youth Leadership Center, which you're the founder of, and you've done great things as a leader, and that's why we're here now, because you're leading this part of the process. I think it is very important that we find out in Rwanda what are the most important values for people right now. And it might be forgiveness, it might be hope, it might be respect, it might be integrity or transparency, or developing people, developing myself, attitude, whatever that is like. But I mean, one of the things, and it's in this book as in number 6, the last one is the value of hope. Even in this, for this company, the 10th value they have in there is the value of hope, which we just went through. And I'm also creating a self-care series with an ebook and a workbook, because we need to start looking after ourselves better. And the 10th video, that no coincidence, is about hope, and how it is. Hope is also part of self-care. Listening better is also part of self-care. Forgiveness is so much part of self-care, because if we can get rid of the stresses, and then restraint as well, because sometimes we need to restrain ourselves and not say the things that come into our head. So all these kind of things, when we learn them, but it is more than learning about it. It's more than just talking about it. We implement them every week. And that implementation is growing us, because knowledge is not power, never has been. People said that knowledge is power. No, it's not. Knowledge implemented. So when you get that knowledge, what are you going to do with that knowledge? If you're not going to do anything with it, your head becomes a library. So that's why these goals are there every week. What are you going to do in the next week to become a better listener, to become more forgiving, to have more restraint, to have better self-esteem, to connect better with other people, and to have more hope? And if we get even those 6 alone already, it has changed my life, it's changed your life, it'll change everybody's life who will take part in it. And when we're talking about transformation, as I said, my wife and I have been involved in a transformation already and still involved in this in several countries. For me, it started in Guatemala in 2013, 2016 Paraguay, 2018 Ireland. Then we started with Transformation Lebanon online, Bangladesh online, Pakistan online. We're working here in South and Southern Africa. So what I'm really saying is, it's not about us. I mean, it's not what we do. It's not to impress you. It's to impress upon the people that anybody who's going to listen to this, anybody who's going to become part of this, can be part of the foundation of the transformation of Rwanda. Because and how does this happen? This is not going to happen overnight, but we might have heard the wonderful saying, be this change you want to see in the world. What does that really mean? Well, I'll tell you what it means is, and the saying, the quote for this program is, transformation begins with me. So if we want to see the change around us, we need to change ourselves. So we change ourselves because people ask me. I'm a motivational speaker as well, and I've spoken for you even on the box the day after Christmas last year. Twice, which I'm eternally grateful for, that you entrust me with your audience as well. But what I always say is, I talk about personal growth and how we need to grow ourselves. We need to become intentional and grow every day, because once we change ourselves, once we grow ourselves, everything around us changes, and people change because they see the change in us. So we need to be those leaders to show that transformation. And I says, we have changed, and we want you. The reason I'm doing this is, apart from the fact that it's the most powerful program ever seen to help people, families, communities, companies and countries change, it is changing me every day. And I need this every day, because you got a World Youth Leadership Center. So how do you, John Maxwell said, as we've talked about before, leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. So then how do you get more influence with people, not over people, with people? Or you need to build relationships. How do you build relationships? Ask better questions. How do you ask better questions? Listen better. And when we sit around the table about all these different values, we listen to each other. Everybody has a voice. Everybody gets a chance to be heard, and everybody matters. And that is so powerful in so many ways,
Yeah. So I think that is really, really inspiring. So always, as it said, leadership, it's all about influence. So if we are just need to influence people, we need just to give them value. We need to respect them. We need to respect their ideas. At the time we are just respecting their ideas, they will understand us. They will find that the way they need us to respect them, we need to go over expectation. They are just expecting from us. So that's what they can just attract people. So at the time we are just transformed by action, not by talking, so the people, they can just the transformation began, for example, in Meshach. So I can just follow up this. They can just follow action. So that's what they can just attract people. Thank you very much for that inspiration. So I learned a lot from you since at the time. Also, it's contributing a lot. At the time I was just getting an award as an outstanding global leader by the magazine from Philippines. I didn't just go there. They just seeing my actions, 2 different online activities I'm just conducting. So they are just nominating me. At the time they are nominating me. I was just getting an award for that. So also it was just good with these courses, as it was adding value to my skills. So for everyone just wanted to, who can just hear us, who is just hearing us then after. So for the person who wants to really impact the society, that is the good place. That is the good training they deserve. So at the time, they are just contributing their time, contributing their passion. They are willing to share to their communities. So by developing the person around us, it is another area of our growth. So we can grow by lifting us, by giving hands to us, by providing support, professional support, etc. So it can just getting us back by getting a growth mindset. So that's also the things I'm just believing in.
And I mean, you know, if people are watching this or listen to this later as well, I mean, they need to realize that, you know, that you show the leadership that is needed everywhere. I mean, we need leaders like you everywhere, and for you to expand that and to have inclusive leadership, that means that you want to not only grow yourself, but you want to attract other people who want to grow with you. And that's why you said, okay, we need to create more of these round tables outside of any of the other amazing training you do, but we need to create more of these. We need to get more people around the table. We need to get people to sit down and talk values, because Les Brown, anybody who knows Les Brown, he says he said years ago already, leadership is failing around the world because of a lack of values. Here we are. This kind of process will be the foundation of life, the foundation of business, the foundation of your social environment, and also the foundation of the best leadership you can have, because without values, there is no leadership. And the fact that you've got that and you show it, and it's how it's impacted you already. And I'm not saying that people outside of this have no values, but we need to better understand it, and we need to talk about this. We need to discuss these kind of things, because, as I said, just knowing it is one thing, but how do we implement it? How do we help other people to implement and grow with us? Because great leaders lift other people up. But what you're doing as well, because you're involved in this training, and you have been for quite a while now, and we've already had many amazing conversations about it, and I'm learning from you as well all the time, because we learn from each other. The thing is that it is always great for leaders to lift other people up, but if the leader themselves is not developing, what are they lifting them up to? So we need to constantly develop. We need to constantly grow ourselves, because some people said one time, what is the best chance? People talk about destiny and purpose and all that, but what is the best way to get to the destiny we all have? And I say it's very simple. For me, the most efficient and effective way to get closer to that purpose and destiny that everybody's got is to do something to grow every single day. Personal development is what is needed. And this is what another thing the program does.
Yeah, okay. So I think that is great. And for the session of today, so I think you can just stop it here, and then we will just continue with our participant next days, and then we will just back with you at the closing when we are just providing the trainings of becoming a facilitator. That's the time we will just also call you to come to facilitate. So as this was just intentionally for just opening, for just showing people who are just starting this group, they will just see, and then we will just continue to work with them so that they can just go through or become in the process. Thank you very much for your time, Jan Robert. Thank you.
Metjak, it's always a privilege and a pleasure to speak with leaders in countries like yourself, and for organizations that are growing around the world. And, you know, I look forward to adding more value to this, but I want to say to the people who listen to this, follow this man, because this man, there is leaders worth following, and there's leaders that we should never look at again. This man is worth following. He's got a passion for people in his country and globally, but especially in this country. But, you know, make sure that you connect with this man and ask him to guide you, to support you and help you, because Metjak is a great example that many people should follow.
Bye-bye. God bless you. And God bless what you leadership center as well. Bye-bye.
Yes. Bye-bye. Take care.